Hello again, everybody, for the last time of the season. This is the Winners and Whiners NFL preview show. This is the special Super Bowl 58 edition. Or if you're like me and you didn't pay much attention in grade school, it's the Super Bowl LVIII. There you go. We have put together a massive panel, a combination of the two panels we've been using this year. Everybody is freed up to join us today. So let's get rolling. Let's meet our panel. Once again, we'll start on the upper right. This is the man that's currently living in the New England area, ride or die New England Patriot, and Giselle wants to know why we're not seeing more Giselle right now. What's she doing? Who knows? No, it's all Taylor Swift. Hey, it's Mark Ruel, everybody. Say hello, Mark.
How you doing? I'm ready for this. Let's go. This is the 2-week buildup is finally drawing to a close. Let's get it going.
Yeah, the 2 weeks between I guess it's cool to let everybody get healthy and let the hype build and everything, but it does get annoying. It really does. Underneath Mr. Ruel, it is Cleveland's finest by way of Dayton, Ohio. Am I right? Dayton?
Toledo.
Toledo. I knew it was one of those shitty MAC schools. You know him, you love him, making his home in Houston, Texas now. It's the CJ Stroud fan club. He's the originator of the CJ Stroud fan club. It's David Delano, everybody. What's up, Double D?
Hey, excited to talk about this Super Bowl here. A little bit of a love-hate relationship with CJ Stroud this year towards the end of the season, but won't get too into that. We've got a lot to talk about, but excited to be here and dig into these Taylor Swift props.
Yes, we're gonna talk sides, we're gonna talk totals, and of course we're gonna talk Taylor Swift props. To the side of Mr. Delano, starting in the second row on the inside pole position or the inside position. I'm anxious to see which of his teams he thinks will play in the Super Bowl next. He comes all the way from Brooklyn, New York, by way of Long Island. It's America's favorite son. It's Scott Reichel. What's up, Mr. Reichel?
Yeah, doing pretty well. Chiefs and Niners. Who would have guessed? I'm shocked. This is the matchup we got for the Super Bowl. No, it feels good. My team was eliminated back in when the season start, September. So yeah, my team never really had a chance, but should be fun. Looking forward to the game.
You've got the Jets and the Cowboys. Who's going to be in the Super Bowl first? Those are your two teams.
Is there going to be another football league adding a Super Bowl title or no? No, I don't know. I'll probably lean to the Cowboys because at least they're on the verge of something. Maybe I don't know. They got McCarthy again, so I have no idea. But yeah, it might be a while.
Okay, very very good, very good. Yeah, it's apparently every 4 years we have the same people running for president and we have the same teams playing in the Super Bowl. So again, we have that to look forward to in 2028 as we go Trump Biden part 3, which will be fantastic. By then, I think the 25th Amendment will go on. There'll be no more term limits, so everybody will be able to run again. So, with that being said, let's talk to our other New England Patriot fan. I know these guys have to feel sad this kind of year because for like, what is it, like a 10 years, dozen years, whatever is like postseason, Patriots. It's all about the Patriots. No longer the case. Let some of the rest of us have a turn, and we're loving it. It's the Seamus Cole, everybody. What's up, Seamus Cole?
How are we doing, guys? Yeah, the Patriots have been in a slump. I'm sure America is very disappointed in that. But they're also going to be disappointed by the fact that it's a 49ers Chiefs. I'm pretty sure that was the least liked Super Bowl outcome out of the NFC Championship and AFC Championship games. But we're here now, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to have some fun either way. So I'm ready.
Very good. You know, as a Chiefs fan, obviously I wanted to see the Chiefs there, but if the Chiefs couldn't go, I really wanted to see like a Buffalo Detroit Super Bowl. Like,
Right,
right. So one of those tortured fan bases is finally going to be happy. So, and no, the football god said, not this year. Sorry. So, and last but not least, he is just a year removed from being very excited about the Super Bowl, making his home in Philadelphia. It's the one, the only Tom Macrina, a.k.a. Rye. What's up, Tom Rye?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not as excited for this Super Bowl as I was last year, but I think we have a great matchup here, and I'm ready to watch this game.
Outstanding. Tom, would you rather your team go and lose or not go?
I'd rather go and lose, but that's what we do in Philadelphia. We go and lose.
Better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all, says
That's
Tom.
right.
Very, very good. By the way, for Tom and everybody else, if you haven't watched the NASCAR 5-parter on Netflix, it's pretty cool. A lot. It's kind of in the vein that they did golf and they did F1 and all that. Kind of a day in the life. They picked 4 or 5 racers. So we're waiting for those Netflix sponsor dollars to be rolling in any time now. So anyway, we have pledged to you that even though we have just one game, we're going to stretch it to our usual hour plus. So we need to get going because we got a lot of information to pack in here. It's one of those freaks of physics that no matter how many games we had to cap, we could go an hour. It just doesn't matter. So, and with me at the host, you never know when things are going to go off the rails. But finally, you thought I was going to forget him. Been my co-host all year. We've been trading off hosting duties every other week. It's America's favorite guy. You got to love this cat. He's a Denver Broncos fan, so that sucks. But he's an Avs and he's a Nuggets fan, so that worked out well. It's Mason Foles, everybody. What's up, Mr. Foles?
What's up, guys? I'm happy to be here. I'm also happy that it's Avalanche and Nugget season. Like Scott's saying, the Broncos, kind of like Reichel said, never really had a chance. So glad the season's over for them, and glad we can start looking at this Super Bowl and then start talking ourselves into thinking we're going to be good again next year. So pretty excited.
Time to let that off-season hype train pull out of the station. Very good. Are they gonna have another year with Russ, Mason?
I don't think so. I can't say 100%. I've seen rumors where they're saying that there was a bunch of players that were upset that he got benched and they were thinking about keeping around, but I'm starting to see more and more trade rumors pop up online and different things like that. So I really hope he's not a Bronco. I can say that confidently. So if George Payton's listening to this, please take that into account and get rid of Russ as fast as possible.
He's a big fan. I've heard he's a big fan of the show, so I'm sure he is tuning in. I don't know if it works like baseball. Can you trade him and have the Broncos pick up some of his salary? Because I can't imagine who's going to take Russ at whatever it is, $45 million or whatever. I know we looked it up at one point. It's exorbitant.
A lot. Yeah, no, I think you can do that. I think if I had to predict, he's either going to go to the Raiders or the Falcons if he's not on the Broncos, is what I'm going to go with.
Broncos pick up about 42 of that.
Yep.
All right, very good.
Out of here.
Well, we will have all that to look forward to next year, as we are going to, of course, do this again, everybody, and we're looking forward to doing that. But in the meantime, we got us a Super Bowl, kids. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. They are the official designated home team against the San Francisco 49ers. Chiefs are a 2-point home underdog, and 47.5 is the total. First of all, guys, I want to put it out to you. Is it much ado about nothing about the Chiefs practicing at the Raiders facility and the Niners having to practice at UNLV? Is this just a bored press corps in this 2-week drought, or is there are the Chiefs being dicks about it?
I think it's a little weird. I'm just going to put it that way. It's a little weird, in my opinion.
What part is weird?
It just feels like if the Niners aren't exactly happy with the field situation, did the Chiefs get preference first? How exactly did that arrangement get decided?
Home team.
Because
Home
it's
team.
AFC that they get.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Well,
So
I don't know if it's the Chiefs' fault. It just feels a little bit weird.
Last year, the Eagles worked out at the Arizona facility, and the Chiefs worked out at Arizona State.
Okay.
So you didn't hear shit about it. When the Chiefs played the Niners before, it was switched, and there was no complaint. So anybody else want to weigh in on this one? Chiefs being dicks? Anybody want to take the position that?
I mean, it's just that I think the 49ers might be dicks more. I mean, you're bitching about the turf. That's what it is, right?
Yeah. The ground's too hard.
I mean, they're UNLV. They're playing outdoors too, right? Where the Chiefs are indoors. But yeah, I think it's. I don't know.
So
the Chiefs actually went out.
But just so I got this straight, the 49ers are complaining, but the 49ers also got to pick where they practice.
No, they don't. No, nobody gets to pick. It's designated that whoever the home team is the one that practices in the NFL facility. Whoever the visitor is will practice in a nearby college facility. So it was preordained.
It might just be unfamiliarity. I was not aware of this ever being an issue in the past, so I just never really thought about it until it was brought up.
Yeah, I think there's a good reason. I think because it never was, because it's never been an issue before. So
I think it sounds like gamesmanship to me. I think Shanahan's right out of his father's playbook. It's a little bit of a gamesmanship move. It doesn't.
that's probably the best take. All right, so let's start. I know, and of course, we've talked about this before. It's kind of a weird deal for us because we all sell premium picks, and of course, we're all going to have a premium play on the game. So we're going to weigh in, and we'll talk about what we can talk about. We'll fill in the gaps where we can, and hopefully give you a pretty good overall picture of where we're all sitting in this game. So, Mark, Niners by 2, 47.5. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, well, luckily I can talk about the actual pick, so that's good. I looked at it from obviously these are the two best teams in the NFL this season for sure. I was looking at them versus. I tried to take a look at it via playoff teams. San Francisco 7-3 versus playoff teams this year. The Chiefs are 4-4. San Fran scoring 26 a game against playoff teams. The Chiefs are down at 20.5. For me, the game comes down to San Francisco's ability, and I do think they have the ability to run the football and commit to it. If you look at the playoffs so far, Miami only rushed the ball 18 times. I understand the conditions that had a lot to do with it, just for 76 yards, and the Chiefs are very vulnerable to the run. Baltimore, which they should be kicking themselves all postseason, rushed 16 times in the game. For the NFL's best rushing team, it's just foolish.
Well, what's worse than that? 8 of them were Jackson.
Yeah, I don't understand the game plan. They were never out of the game. I can understand if the Chiefs got up by 17 and it was a game they could win. They just didn't stick to a game plan or didn't think that was the game plan they were going to win with. For me,
did anybody else think? Oh, go ahead, Mark.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, did anybody else think Baltimore started panicking like the middle of the third quarter? Did it seem that anybody else get that same read? It kind of seemed like they were pressing a lot more than they had to. I didn't really get that.
No, I thought they pressed by halftime.
What's that, Mark?
I thought they pressed as soon as they come out at halftime. That you could see Harbaugh was already talking about, what Jackson could and couldn't do, and I just think it was a mistake on their part the way they played it.
Right, Rye, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that they went away from the game plan that they originally wanted to use. And yeah, they really, after that strip sack, when they picked up the fumble, I think that's where it all changed for Baltimore.
Yeah, well, and Kansas City had one of those in the Super Bowl last year, where Bolton ended up getting a pick six out of it. They had another a strip, as I'm sure you might vaguely remember, Rye, that kind of changed the complexion of the game there. So, but Philly didn't panic last year. They played, like they were in the game, and that's the great thing about the Chiefs. Chiefs get down 10, 14 points. We don't really worry about it. They don't sweat it. Mahomes is the only player in NFL history that's over 500 being down by double digits in a game. So it really, it's not a situation. I thought Harbaugh did a horrible job, and I thought that the defense did a fantastic job for Baltimore in the second half. Of course, that's in second half. Andy Reid is a different animal. When the Chiefs go in with the lead, the best bet you can make is second half under, and I will put that out there as an official play. If the Chiefs have the lead at halftime, bet the under, whatever it is in the second half, and you will likely be happy. All right. So, Mark, what's your play here?
So, having said that, again, if you look at the only team that did try to run at them consistently was Buffalo, and honestly, Buffalo is the team that had the best chance to win. They ran it 39 times. To me, I look at it. Shanahan's had 2 cracks, one in a Super Bowl and one in a title game, and he's not going to. And more importantly, the Patriots game way back when he was running the show, basically, and he folded. I think he's going to stick to the run in this game until he's blue in the face. He has the bell cow on McCaffrey. And they've also, their defense, while shaky in the start, has only let up 15 points and 7 points in the second half of the 2 games. So they played much better in the second half. Nothing wrong with Mahomes. I said to you before the telecast, he's not going to make mistakes. I understand that. The difference in this game is I think the 49ers can simply outscore them if they stick to their game plan, and because these aren't the Chiefs of 3 years ago. They're not going to put up crazy numbers. They'll do what they can, and Mahomes will be outstanding, no doubt. I think the 49ers will squeak out this game. And the 2 points to me means nothing. I think the 2 points probably swings because I think if you looked at, I've watched some of this footage. So it's a pretty heavy 49ers crowd. They're going to be the slight home team, even though they're considered the road team. So I'm going to take San Fran -2.
Okay, very good. You can also lay them on the money line at -125, which
Yep.
that's not a bad call if you want to not worry about the push, the 23-21 push or something like that. You can just lock up that money line. That's a decent price there. What say you, Mr. Delano?
Well, I agree with a lot of the things that Mark said as far as the 49ers' ability to run the ball. And I, agree with what you said if the Chiefs get up as far as this being a low-scoring second half. But I do think that the 49ers are definitely going to have some success moving the ball in the first half, and the Chiefs are as well. As far as what happens in the second half, that makes me a little iffy about the total for the game. Now, one thing about this, the Chiefs, they scored 26 and 27 points in their first couple playoff games. The last game, no points really in the second half. Baltimore got a little tight. Andy Reid took his foot off the gas. I don't think this is going to be a situation where he's going to be able to do that. When you look at the 49ers, they've scored 24 points and 34 points in their playoff games. Obviously a better defense here in Kansas City. But the way I'm going to play this is going to be a little bit different. A lot of professional bettors may not like this, but this is something I've had tremendous success with almost every time I do it in the Super Bowl. And I'm going to tease the side in total in this one. If you have a book that's able to do it, like from Bet Online, you can do it -125. If you have Caesar or something, -140. It's going to be -125 to -140, depending on your book. But I'm actually going to take the Chiefs here, 6.5 points at +8.5 and over 41, because I think that both of these teams can combine for over 41 points. And even if the Chiefs don't win this game, Kansas City has only lost one game all season. A little bit of that weird game against the Broncos by more than 8 points. I don't think that they're going to get embarrassed. Pat Mahomes is not going to get embarrassed in this game, even if they don't win. So that's going to be the play for me is over 41 and Chiefs +8.5 on the teaser.
All right, very good. I have to go back. Did you say obviously San Francisco has the best defense?
Well, no, I said Kansas City is going to be the best defense that San Francisco's faced so far in the playoffs. They're better than the Lions and the Packers by far.
Okay.
I was saying the points that they've put up. I know they're averaging 28 so far. I don't know if they get that. Yeah.
I was ready to pounce. I was ready to throw stats at you, man. So, all right. Very good. I did see one of the Chiefs homers tweeting a position-by-position comparison gave Kansas City the advantage at linebacker. I don't think there's a universe where I believe that's accurate.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Anytime you've got Fred Warner in your linebacking core, it's going to be hard to beat that linebacking core. That's kind of the way I feel. Anyway, Rochelle, what do you say?
I'm going to go with the Chiefs and the under in this game. I don't mind a teaser also with the Chiefs and the under, actually, for the total instead. I can't take an over with the Chiefs. They don't score in the second half. And whether it's because they're leading or because Andy Reid gets conservative or the fact that the Chiefs receiving core isn't exactly that great, the second half unders, I'm sure Steen has the number. It's been profitable the entire season for the Chiefs. I see this game probably dying at some point. But I do think looking at this matchup, I guess a question for all of you. Out of the 8 quarters the Niners have played in the playoffs, how many quarters have you actually been impressed with this team? They probably should have lost to Green Bay. Green Bay is self-destructed. And they probably should have lost to the Lions. The Lions self-destructed. Have the Niners actually looked good in either of these games? Like at all? Like I don't know how good the Niners actually are supposed to be. Defensively, they don't look that great. They got destroyed by the Lions in the first half. And then you had a bunch of decent drives that culminated in failed fourth down plays. You had a fumble in the first play, which was pretty fluky, but it worked out in their benefit. And you saw the Packers fail a QB sneak on fourth down. Like, once again, I just don't think the Niners look that good. And I think looking at the Chiefs, yes, the offense is shut down on several occasions in the second half, by design or not, a separate story. But the Chiefs have beaten the AFC's best, and they've looked pretty good doing it for the most part. And I don't think that, like the Lions and the Packers, the Chiefs will beat themselves. So if I'm picking Shanahan to A, show up for a big game for once, or B, fold like he usually does, I'm going to pick B. I think he's going to get conservative. I think it's not going to work in his favor. And I think the Chiefs with Mahomes, I know it's the classic, obvious, copped-out cap of why are you going to give me points with Mahomes? but I'm going to take the points. Like, I just think the Chiefs are going to win this game. They've been here before. I think they'll find a way to get it done. Shanahan has not proven to me yet he can win a big game. And I think the Lions self-destructed. They kind of handed him the game on a platter last week or 2 weeks ago. I'm going to lean to the Chiefs here. I just think they're the better team. At least I trust them more. Let's put it that way. And if you can argue that it's going to be a spot that comes down to the wire, a one-possession game, I'm taking Mahomes over Brock Purdy. Simple as that. Give me the Chiefs in the under.
Okay. I will tell you a fun stat that if you are interested, Mahomes is 9-0-1 ATS away from home as an underdog, 3-0 straight up as an underdog in the playoffs in his career. So
I do want to ask, though, since I kind of asked everybody, have any of you actually been impressed with the Niners this playoff run? Because yes, they've come from behind and they've pulled off some wins here. They haven't really looked good in the process of either of those two games.
I think the answer to your question is 3.5. Is how many quarters I've been impressed with the Niners? About 3.5. Go ahead, David.
No, I agree. I haven't been. I mean, Campbell. I mean, it was being aggressive in a lot of spots, but I think not kicking the field goal or attempting up to go up 17. I think that shifted the whole momentum of the game, and then having a chance to tie the game, but still going for it on 4th down. That's not the type of things that Andy Reid would do in this game.
No, it is not. For better or worse, he's been a little slow to embrace advanced analytics.
And he's winning. So who knows?
And he seems to be winning just fine. You know, I did see a pretty good tweet that said, you know, Kansas City last year was supposed to be a rebuilding year. This year is a down year. Can hardly wait till this team gets good. And there's a certain amount of truth to that. As you know, they had to rebuild their receiving core last year and looked very pedestrian a lot of the year this year as well. So, Seamus, what you got here?
I'm going to save my best bet pick for my Winners and Whiners page on the expert stuff, but I do like the over in this case. In the last 7 Super Bowls, the total score has averaged to over 51 points. And like what everybody else was saying, I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs and the 49ers, if either team is down, I have faith that either team can also come back. So I think the second half is going to be a very interesting way. I think it'll start off slow, maybe like, I don't know, 17-ish points in the first half total. But then whoever is behind will slowly catch up. I think eventually they'll reach the over. I mean, 47.5 isn't that much for a Super Bowl matchup that everybody wants to watch. NFL wants to put up a very good show. And I think that either team can come back with the talent they have. The defense will get tired. And the Kansas City Chiefs have scored 27 and 26 in their playoff games. They scored 17 and didn't even score in the second half against the Ravens. I think Kansas City can score around, again, 26-27. And I think the 49ers can do just enough to reach the over as well, even though, as Scott said, they haven't looked that great. They can still come back like they did against the 49ers. So my money's on the over in that case.
All right, very good. And last but not least, Tom Macrina, how do you see this one?
Yeah, so I love overs as well. I'm actually doing what David's doing, taking the Chiefs and the over on a teaser. These teams match up really well. Both teams' strengths are going against each other, the San Francisco offense and the Kansas City defense. But I just think that the offense for San Francisco is going to be able to move the ball. They're number 1 in yards per play, 3 in rush yards, 4th in yards per rush. Completion percentage as well. I think, as we said earlier, that both quarterbacks are going to limit mistakes. I think both of these teams move down the field. I'm not going to fade Andy Reid or Mahomes. So, yeah, I like the 8.5 and the over with the teaser. I like a lot of overs. I actually like both team total overs are 24.5 for plus money if you want to jump on them.
Okay, very good. And finally, Mr. Foles.
I'm going to be going with the under 47.5 with this one. I think this Chiefs defense has been incredible since the postseason started, holding the Ravens to 10 points, holding Miami to 7 points. I think that's just speaking volumes for the way they're playing right now. And I don't trust Purdy in a big spot like this. I think that he could make mistakes. I could see the 49ers running the ball a lot, which is going to keep the clock moving. And then on the flip side, I think this San Francisco defense is also good enough to slow down the Chiefs. Like we were saying earlier, Kansas City has struggled to score in the second half, and they also have had some issues inside the red zone this season. I know last week that pretty much went directly out the window against the Ravens, but I think they're going to have, I don't think they're going to be as successful in the red zone against the 49ers. They're going to have to settle for a few more field goals, and I think that's going to keep the total under the number.
All right. Very, very good. So I got to tell you, I think there's going to be a fair amount of San Francisco fans at this game. I'm obviously, as you can see, I'm in San Francisco, and there's nobody here. There's absolutely, the streets are virtually empty as all the Niners fans have made the trip east to Vegas. So yeah, I'm just walking around the Embarcadero with my Chiefs stuff on. It's a good time. All right, so that's the game, and now the stuff that everybody is interested in. What color shirt will Taylor Swift be wearing? I will tell you that red is minus 500. Everything else pays very, very well. Anybody want to go away from red?
If I say white and the shirt's going to be like a mix of Chiefs colors, does that count or no?
See, that's what I wondered, because you've got yellow on there and you've got white on there, but it could very easily be the same. It could be
I think Mark's
white.
losing his mind during this conversation.
There's a minus 750 that I'm jumping out the window. I mean, any Taylor Swift showings, that's minus 750. I'm taking it too, by the way. I'm loading up on it.
Outstanding. Yeah, there's some fun Taylor Swift. Will Travis propose to Taylor? Plus 1060. Plus Ruel, what do you think about that one? How do you play that?
You know what? Given how ridiculous, I would say yes. I'm gonna say yes. Load up on it because it would fit the description perfectly.
All right, outstanding. And will this is a lock. Will the MVP mention Taylor Swift in his speech? No is minus 1200. I think that's the best bet on the board. Yeah. Because number one, the only one who's going to mention Taylor Swift is Travis Kelce, and he's not going to win the MVP. And I think even then, if he wins it, I think it's well, he's going to do it.
Then he will.
I was going to say 50-50, but if he wins the MVP, I don't see it. I think minus 1200. I think that's a great bet right there.
You don't think the Chiefs are gaining inspiration from Taylor winning a Grammy? You don't think that was in the pregame speech?
I don't think so. No. I understand they brought Jay-Z in to give the pregame speech to the Chiefs, so it's going to be some weird vibes in there. Okay.
Have you found a book with like that minus 1200 for no? Have you found any that'll let you parlay that with anything? Because I found some with long odds and some that I liked, but you can't parlay them and then together.
The parlays, no. You usually have to buy and sell about 4 different houses, to mortgage it on those props individually, and then you can buy it back after. But no, I don't think you can parlay those.
Is this the 1-800-GAMBLER? Yes, it is. How can I help you? Well, I can't find the book to parlay my Taylor Swift prop, and I suspect that I might have a problem. Could I talk to somebody? There's also, is she going to be wearing something made by Kristen Juszczyk? Will she be wearing the one of those fancy
I feel like that's
I think that might actually be live, because now she's sponsored or she had a partnership with the NFL, so that actually does make some sense.
Good for her.
I say there's no way that she wears something made by the wife of an opposing player.
I'd agree with you, but the fact that she's now like partners with the NFL or there's some agreement there, maybe, but probably not.
All right, we'll see. Okay, so we had to get those out of the way, just for Mark's benefit. But you know what? And I told you guys before the show started, as a Kansas City fan, we didn't really care. It was kind of cool, But I think we've started to care a lot more the more the rest of the world hates it. It fuels us. The more that we see all that Taylor Swift hate and ruining the game. That just like put it right in my veins. I love that. The more I watch Ruel's expression, the more excited I get to talk about Taylor Swift.
I have to add something to this. I do. I have to add something. Want to be clear. This is no Chiefs hate on my part. What I do hate, and I'll be clear, my sports are over here. Will you, for the love of God, keep the social media stuff that's all like a TikTok and everything? Keep it away from my. I want to watch my game in peace. That's my beef. It has nothing to do with the Chiefs. Not even anything to do with her. I don't care. Just let me watch the game in peace, for the love of God. And by the way, another great prop bet is there's no chance Taylor Swift's people haven't gone to Jason Kelsey and say, you are not to take off your shirt in front of Taylor Swift this week, or you're out of here. So that's my only. It's just silliness. That's my whole thing.
Yeah, Mark. For me, I think you just might need to shake it off. I'm gonna end it on that.
I'm sure I will.
Thank
don't
you.
worry. I can mute it when I see her show up on my screen.
I don't know if you got that song title pun or that went right over your head. But,
I can't. I got it.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
Cool. I got it.
And just a public service announcement for anybody, any kids that happen to live in Mark's neighborhood, get off his lawn.
Oh,
just saying.
I'm
just
throwing
saying. All right, Mark, you got a favorite prop?
Yeah, I do actually. I got one that I'll tell you who. There's two that I looked at. This is just MVP props that I thought were pretty good plays. The first one that jumped out, and obviously you got to like the Niners to win, but McCaffrey is plus 475 to win the MVP, which I think is a pretty good number. He has 5 touchdowns in 2 playoff games thus far, and he'll get a couple here. So if he gets up to 2, when he gets over to 3, you're looking at the MVP more than likely. So for me, that number is pretty good. And then for a long shot on the same idea, just because this one just stuck out at me for some reason. Deebo Samuel is plus 2,000 to win the MVP. And of course you think, well, what are the odds? Except, who's the player they always mention most indispensable? Deebo Samuel in these games. He's healthier than he's been since probably the Jacksonville game early this season. He'll be a huge part of the game plan, and he is capable of putting up one of those games where he gets a rushing TD and a receiving TD, and you're getting an MVP out of that. So if you're looking for a flyer, Deebo Samuel plus 2,000 to me is a pretty good play.
Aerosmith is from Boston, so you might be familiar with the song "Dream On." It's a good price. I'd say true odds of that are probably closer to 15, 16 to 1. So yeah, you're getting a little overlay there. But you've got that's an excess cash bet. That's kind of a home run hitter. But I don't hate that play. I think it's like everything else in the NFL, it's turned into a quarterback award. The season MVP, everything is turned into a quarterback award for better or for worse. So
and that's why I thought the McCaffrey number is not bad, just because I think if any team's going to have to lean on a running back to win this game, it would be the Niners more so. Obviously, to me, the Chiefs, it's Mahomes if they win. End of story. It's not really debatable. If they win, it'll be because of him, and the number's too low.
Yeah, and I think the league kind of slants that way, like against Purdy. Because, Mahomes is the golden child and Purdy's Mr. Irrelevant. So if McCaffrey goes for, 120 and a touchdown and Deebo goes for 8 catches for 110, they're going to give it to one of those guys. They're not going to give it to McCaffrey. But if Kelsey and Pacheco put up the same numbers, they're going to 100% give it to Mahomes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with your rationale there. If the Niners win, I don't hate a non-quarterback in that spot. I think, I don't know what you saw, 475 for McCaffrey. I think that's a great price.
Yep.
And if you want to play Deebo at plus 2,000, yeah, I ain't mad at you. Mr. Delano, you got one picked out? You got 1 or 2 picked out?
Yeah. So first, as far as dealing with football, and some other people may like it too, so I don't go too deep into it. But Harrison Butker, I like over 1.5 field goals in this one. Minus 110. I mean, a guy 40 for 42, including the playoffs with field goals. We talked about earlier, Andy Reid is not going to leave points on the table, whether or not going forward on 4th down, he's not going to risk that. I mean, this guy can kick him from 60 yards. We've had going to have ideal conditions. He's 14 for 14 from 40 yards plus, including the playoffs. I love that at minus 110 for him to get over 1.5 field goals. And then on the non-football side, not sure how much it's worth. I'm not talking about Taylor Swift, but talking about Usher. over 8.5 songs. It's it's minus 120 on both sides, and there's about 6 songs on some books for him to perform it that have at least minus 200 odds. I mean, this guy's been around for over 30 years, really at his peak for now over 25 years. So I think he's going to do over 8.5 songs. Now the issue with that, and maybe Bet Online, they just fear me as a sharp bettor because I love this Usher over 8.5, and I went to hit the max button to see how much I could really hammer it, and they maxed me out at $10 for this one. So maybe I might have to see if I can find it.
Dave, is anybody else performing with him that's going to hurt that though? I don't even know. I'm asking seriously.
You always got a couple of guests.
Yeah,
people that
it's
show
not
up, but-
official, but there probably will be some people.
Because that could hurt the number just because of that. He might not get it.
Did you do any research? How many did Riri do last year? Like six?
I was trying to find that. I know when Dr. Dre was up there, I think there were 10 songs performed. I found that.
Yeah, because they do like the little short versions, and what counts? Is there a minimum length that they counted as a song?
I don't think, from what I've seen, I think he just has to perform it. I mean, I think it could be short, like 20, 30 seconds.
So if he does a 3-minute medley with 5 songs, you're getting 5 songs.
Yeah, and I want to go too, but
Okay.
I was just writing down some of the songs that I think he has to perform, and I think we've got about 6 of them, 6 or 7 that are locks. I think that we'll get another 2 in there.
There you go, loading up on the
Based
Ursher
on the
props.
limits, the books have no idea either. They don't feel too confident in it.
Right, absolutely. I agree with that. Rachel, I know you got some props picked out. You and Rufus got about 2 million in play this week. What's some of yours?
Yeah, so I ended up not going with any serious long shots. I just went with a couple of plays that I like in general at reasonable odds. The first one's actually going to be an under on a Chiefs defensive player. I'm going to take Nick Bolton under 5.5 solo tackles at minus 120. He's had less than 6 solo tackles in 10 of 11 games played this season. He's also had less than 6 solo tackles in all 3 playoff games. Couple reasons for that. One is the fact that the Chiefs offense, when they score, they drain a ton of clock. And if I'm picking the Chiefs to win, that does mean I'm expecting the Niners offense to be off the field, kind of like what we saw in the AFC title game, where Lamar was sitting around basically for most of the first half because the Chiefs had the ball the entire time. But the point is, Bolton, it's the keyword solo tackles because the Chiefs do a good job of sending multiple guys to the ball carrier and kind of group tackling. So the solo tackles angle is what I like there for Bolton. I like the under 5.5 at minus 120. And the other one, I am going to go with a fullback prop. Give me Kyle Juszczyk over 3.5 receiving yards at minus 110. He's had at least 5 receiving yards in 4 of the last 6 games. He's been targeted at least 2 times in 4 of his last 6. And he's actually been very good against Kansas City historically. Yes, some of it's dating back all the way to his time in Baltimore. But he's had at least 26 receiving yards in each of his 4 career games against the Chiefs. 3.5 yards. I need 1 catch. Sure, sounds good to me. I'll take the over 3.5 at minus 110.
Hopefully it won't be Bolton that makes the solo tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
He can make 1. He just can't make 6. That's fine. I can handle 1.
Seamus, you joining the prop party?
Yeah, I got a few that I have listed here. I had about like 7 of them that I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But I'm going to keep it just simple enough for the first couple. I do have Travis Kelce on the over of 71.5 yards receiving. He's gotten that in every playoff game so far. And if Taylor Swift is going to be in the audience, Patrick Mahomes is going to throw him the ball. And obviously, Kelce is the most reliable target on the Chiefs offense right now. So if they're going to put him in a big game, he's obviously going to show up. So I'd say over 71.5. And I also believe in CMC getting over 91.5 rushing yards. The last time he went under 91.5 was Thanksgiving. So I feel pretty confident in that. CMC, as Mark said, he might even win MVP. He's got decent enough odds. So I like that. And then one I really found interesting was the Chiefs' first scoring play. There's a field goal plus 134, a passing TD plus 138, and a rushing TD plus 440. So if you bet on 2 of those and one of them hits, you're going to make a profit. So that's something I find really interesting. I might go with the rushing TD of a plus 440 because they might just hand it off to Pacheco for a 1-yard score or something. And I'll probably go with a field goal too, because if the 49ers defense is really good, and like David said about Harrison Butker, Andy Reid being conservative, I could see a Chiefs field goal being the first score. So those are my options.
All right, very good. And Mr. Macrina.
Yeah, so as I said, I think we're going to see a lot of scoring here. Obviously, the Chiefs like to methodically move the ball down the field. So I think San Francisco is going to need some big plays to stay within this game. So I like Brock Purdy, longest completion, over 36.5 yards. He averages 51. He has all the weapons. I think we get this one easily. Let me see what the price is.
I'm
Yeah,
assuming it's going to be,
120.
yeah, that's what I was going to guess.
Okay. All right. Very solid. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. All right. Mr. Foles.
I am going to ride with the Harrison Butker over 1.5 field goals with Delano as well. I love that play. But with another one besides that, I'm going to actually look at Christian McCaffrey to score 2 touchdowns anytime. This number's at plus 245. I think if San Francisco wins this game, he's going to have to score twice. And I think if they lose this game, the only way that they can keep it close is if McCaffrey's running the ball consistently and making big plays for him. So he's done it multiple times for me this year. So I'm going to stick with him to score 2+ touchdowns. And then for my big exotic prop, I do it every year, and I know it's probably not the most genius move, but I'm taking tails. 30-27 in the 57 Super Bowls. The coin toss, if you started out with the win on the day, you know you're going to have a good rest of the Super Bowl. So hopefully I'm starting it out hot this year, as tails never fails. So there's my exotic prop for everyone.
My apologies to the audience. If I'd have known he was going to take a coin toss prop, I never would have come to him. So
My big one's Harrison Butker. I will definitely say that.
There's
so you're gonna lay a nickel on an even money proposition. Just here it is. Here, take
Throw
it.
it out there.
Yep.
Mason, what was the 2 touchdown McCaffrey?
It was at plus 245 on DraftKings, which
On DraftKings, just to add to that one, because I think it's a good one. It's plus 450 if he gets one in each half. Just to give you that. That's an interesting one too.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
I'm just trying to imagine if McCaffrey has 2 touchdowns, is he not winning MVP? You're getting like 2 times your money on the MVP odds.
Depends on if they
win.
win.
They have to
You
win.
could
That's
have
that's
a
a fair
whole day
point.
on McCaffrey if you like the Niners.
Well, can't you also just parlay though the 2 touchdowns with the Niners money line? Like, what does that price pay out? You got to compare and contrast the odds with that. But either way,
Yeah, you should be able to do that.
Plus 900 on DraftKings.
plus 900 for 2 touchdowns and the Niners to win.
Oh, that's wrong. They are
Pulling out the calculator.
plus 355. That was with
Okay.
the Chiefs to win, which makes way more sense. I was like, wait a
Yeah.
second.
Okay, so I'm trying to compare that to the MVP odds. Okay, fair enough.
In case you're wondering, they seem more confident in taking your coin toss money. I said they'd only take $10 on the Usher bet. They're willing to take $1,000 on tails if I want.
Go figure.
Might go all in.
I want everybody to drop a comment. Let us know what you're playing. But I really want you to drop a comment if you're thinking, I was on the fence about the coin toss.
Yep.
But Mason, who I trust as a great NFL handicapper, has said tails never fails. So fuck it, I'm on tails. Let's go.
You don't hear that kind
Let's
of
go.
proclamation often. Tails never fail.
No.
Lock me in.
Forgot to mention before, by the way, for an exotic, I'll lean to the over in the national anthem.
That's a
So
good
there
one.
you
What is the line? What is the number?
Yeah, what is the line?
I don't have that in front of me.
It is 84.5,
What?
which is blazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
seconds, you mean?
Blazing, yes.
I'll lean
Yeah.
over.
No, who's
I'm
doing it?
sorry. It
It's like
opened at
Rebecca's
84.
on, isn't
It opened at 84.5. It's now been bet up to 90.5.
Damn
That's
it!
quick.
I'm
Alright.
still taking the over on that.
I'm still
That is
leaning over, but
That is an absolute blaze.
Yeah.
Do we know
is
who's
it-
singing it?
I know Reba McEntire. I know last year it was I believe 121 or 122 depending on
Yeah, I was gonna
Where
say
you-
usually they're like 2 minutes long.
Reba's
yeah.
keeping it simple. She's keeping it simple. She's flying through this thing.
Going back to 1991, country singers produced an average album anthem length of 112.5 seconds.
I love
Yeah, I can take the over on that one.
She sang the national anthem in the 1997 World Series, clocked in at 83 seconds.
Ooh.
There's other clips of her singing even quicker.
That's funny. I love it.
Wow.
So
See, that's the kind of information you don't get everywhere, people.
now the kicker there is obviously she's older now. She's 68, so she won't be as able to move and control her breath as quickly as she did when she were younger. So I guess that's the thinking behind the bigger number. So
He also might not want to be out there for as long.
very, very true. Very true. So for me, I'm looking at a couple of props here. I'm looking at kind of the Seamus strategy here. Bet a little, bet a lot, win a little. With the first touchdown scorer, got McCaffrey at 369, Kelsey at plus 600, and Pacheco at plus 550. I like putting a little pizza money on all three of those, and I think you're going to get. You're not quite, obviously you're not guaranteed to win, but I think that's a 70%, 75% chance one of those three guys scores the first touchdown. What do you guys think about the numbers I just pulled out of my ass? Am I
I think
close?
Brandon Ayuk's going to come in clutch there.
Okay. And I think you can get Ayuk at 1,000, 1,200, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can do that, and you could still add Ayuk, still be guaranteed a profit, even if it's McCaffrey. You're still making 69 cents on every dollar. So just putting that out there. The other one I like under 7.5 punts. I think these offenses are going to be able to move the football. San Francisco versus Green Bay, there was 5 punts. Detroit, there was 3. The Chiefs this postseason, Kansas City, Miami, there was 7. Buffalo, there was 3. There was 11 against Baltimore, but that was a very weird game situation where Andy completely took his foot off the gas in the second half and really didn't try to move the football through any kind of chunk plays at all. Was happy to punt, was happy to play old Southwest Conference football and play for field position. So they've played twice in the last few years. They played in the Super Bowl, obviously in the end of the 2019 season, 4 punts. They played the 2022 season in San Francisco. In that game, there were 4 punts. So I know past performance isn't indicative of an indicator of future performance, but I think it gives us a pretty good roadmap. I like the under 7.5 punts as well. So there you go. There's my prop action. Anybody else got anything to say? Are you?
Wait, real quick on that 2 touchdowns. So
Yeah.
if you want to pay a little juice, you could get any player to score 2 touchdowns at minus 185. I think that's on DraftKings. The last Super Bowl that hasn't happened was Patriots Rams, which was what, 13-6, something like that.
When nobody scored a touchdown.
Right.
Just one, yeah.
Was the only touchdown a pick six?
No, it was
No, it was in the fourth
touchdown,
quarter.
rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sonny Michel.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Okay. That's not a bad play. Although, is there anybody that scores 2 touchdowns besides McCaffrey?
Kelsey.
I don't know, Kelsey might.
maybe. I mean, you're going with the
yeah.
star
Pacheco
power
might.
at that point. I mean, maybe Pacheco if they get close to the goal line, maybe. But
Right.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, Scott. Is there a non-Pacheco Kelsey touchdown possibility for the Chiefs? Is the resident Chief?
Rashid Rice.
Be Rice.
Oh, Rice. Yeah, and that's the other prop I had. I had Rice's first reception over 9.5 yards. I think that's a good play. They've been running a lot of seam routes and a lot of 7 routes with him to try to get ISO with the safety. His first reception against Baltimore was for 11, 25 against Baltimore, 11 against Miami. So I think that's not a bad play either if you want to take Rice. And Rice anytime score. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I think that's not a bad play. I do think that Mahomes has developed a great deal of confidence in Rice over the last third of the season. And obviously the kid's not quite a 1, but he's as close to as a 1 that the Chiefs have. So
Yeah.
Is there a prop for Kadarius Toney on the roster or not?
If he's on the active 53,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably
I haven't seen anything on Toney. I don't think Andy trusts Toney at all. Not one bit. I don't think he trusts him in a big situation. I wouldn't be surprised if they activated him. Just it depends on who's hurt and who isn't. By the way, is there anything on the injury list that scares you guys? I know that the Niners are pretty healthy. The Chiefs are probably going to be missing Tooney, and there was some talk earlier in the 2-week period they were going to get McKinnon back. That looks more and more unlikely. Do you think either one of those things matter?
I think George Kittle's questionable.
Yeah, I saw Kittle this morning. That was the big name that I saw that worried
Yeah,
me.
I guess I expect him to play, but if not, that
Yeah,
that
that
could hurt
changes.
the 49ers offense for sure.
Well, I mean, he was at the thing last night doing all the.
Yeah, he was chatting
What-
up last night.
He didn't
Yeah,
practice once last week was what everyone realized, and now they're all freaking out about it.
Is the linebacker ready to go for the Chiefs?
Willie Gay.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah, he carries a non-designation this week. So
Okay. Because that would be
Um,
big just to cover Kittle. I mean, that kind of thing for him. I mean, I think that matters.
yeah, that's the problem with the Chiefs linebackers. And I'll tell you, they had they were using the linebackers on the rookie last week. If you look at what's the kid's name?
Likely.
Oh, yeah.
No, not the tight end, the receiver.
Flowers.
Flowers
Flowers.
from DC. Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at that catch that Flowers made for a touchdown, he's on Bolton.
Mm.
He's running a 30-yard corner route, and Bolton's trying to cover him. So I don't know what, Spags runs a lot of exotic shit, but when you've got a linebacker on their best receiver, I'm not sure how that works out. So I'm hoping they get that fixed, because that we've obviously Kansas City has terrific corners and safeties. So I don't know why that worked out that way. So yeah, having Willie Gay back is big. Although Drew Tranquil has really been playing well in the postseason, he has really stepped it up and looked like an absolute stud at the linebacking position. So I think they're going to. I think we'll see less Leo Chenal, and I think we're going to see more Drew Tranquil there in the Chiefs linebacking corps. So, any final thoughts from anybody?
One thing I wanted to ask you guys about, I was looking at one other prop. What do you guys think about for the largest lead of the game? Right, it's at 14.5. I like the under there. So I'm seeing like minus 125 on the under. I don't see.
Yeah.
I would
Unless
lean
his
under,
turnovers are not
but
expected.
part of it might come down to if the Niners start off as slow as they have in the past. Because if you're assuming that the Chiefs are going to score on the first drive because the scripted plays always work out for Reed, then you're kind of just wondering if the Niners will fall behind early, if they'll figure it out. But I would probably lean under as well on that.
Yeah, I think if it's 13.5, you've got a different question. But I think at 14.5, it's a lot easier bet. I saw one earlier, and I don't remember the price on it. I was looking at a lot of stuff before the show. Lead change in the fourth quarter. I don't hate that.
No, I see that.
I don't hate it. I don't hate a lead change, and it was plus money. So that's something to take a look at as well.
And that does not include a tie game, then, right? It would have to be a lead change.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, I think you'd have to have one team clearly ahead and the other team then take the lead. I don't think if the other team ties it, if it's 2017 and makes it 2020.
I assumed as much. I just kind of wanted confirmation for the sake of that.
I did not look at the fine print for the bet, but I'm assuming that's going to be the way it is.
I'm assuming you're right. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a very good point. There's a lot of fun props, and then I know prop action gets a lot of play. We're going to be we've got some early props that we've got in a package if you guys are interested, and then we're going to be dropping another props package this week that will have some of the more exotic props and some of the props that we didn't. We listed some early because that's the time to bet props for the most part. Let's be honest. If you're not betting props the first couple of days they're released, you're likely going to give away a lot of value. The national anthem is a great example. You could have got it at 84.5, and now it's 90.5. So you're losing 8% of value just by the fact you waited a few days. So there's a lot of props that are like that. So the best advice as far as props, get early. So we're going to try to find some props that we think are still playable, and we're going to be releasing those. So if you're interested, take a look at those. Probably going to be $50.
I kind of like that you're combining them. Like you gave the prop, which I really like, the punt under, under punts. And I kind of, to Dave's prop, I think if you really like the under, you'd like the under and the 14.5 too, because these teams are going to control the ball. So that's kind of limit punts and probably limit big leads, I think, in the game. I think both teams will have the ball quite a bit. So
yeah, I agree with that. And yeah, that's a great point, Mark, is try to correlate them if you can. If you've got, if you've got Mahomes over passing yardage, you should probably look at the over as a play, or the Chiefs as a winner. Try to correlate your props if you have that ability. And we can't speak to where you are, what books are available, because every book is different about what they'll let you put together. But that's definitely a great point. Try to correlate something else with your props to give them a little extra hammer there. That's a beautiful, beautiful thought there, buddy. Anybody else? Anybody else? Final thoughts before we get out of here for the last time this year?
No, just hoping for a good game.
Yep,
Me
I agree.
too.
I agree. It's and as a Chiefs fan, and I don't speak for all Chiefs fans, but for me, this game is gravy. The ones I really wanted to win was the Buffalo game and the Baltimore game, just to stop the Mahomes can't win on the road narrative. Even though we covered that he has actually a better record on the road than he does at home, but I was glad to see the Chiefs step up and win those two games. I'd love to see a win on Sunday, obviously, but if they don't, and I don't even think I weighed in with my pick. I got the Niners. I think the Niners are going to be able to run the football. I don't think I said that, but I think the Niners. I think the running game is going to be what's different between these two teams. A lot of the same personnel for San Francisco that there was 2 years ago. I think they're a better defense. The big improvement would be at the running back position, where you've got, certainly I consider the best running back in the game right now in your stable. Let me ask you this: better quarterback, Garoppolo or Brock Purdy?
Purdy.
Purdy.
I was never a Garoppolo guy, so
I know
think
you
Purdy's
weren't.
better.
Is there any Garoppolo guys out there? Does anybody think Jimmy G is a better quarterback?
Nope.
No,
Both of them are like, I don't want to say system QBs, but they're both like, they're not going to propel you to win the game, right? So, I mean, Garoppolo on the Patriots was solid. He went 3-1 as a starter before Brady took over that 1 year. So I think it's more of the system in place for them, as opposed to
Okay.
whether they're on their talents alone.
But you can argue based on that, though, that Purdy's better in the same system, correct?
Yep.
We'll see. We'll see on Sunday.
I think Purdy's more talented than Garoppolo, and I also think, which is an advantage for the 49ers this time around, Shanahan also does realize his limitations and comes into the game knowing where he might not have with Garoppolo as much, where he knows this is what I can do with this kid, and here's what I can't. I think that's an advantage for the Niners. He's not going to put him in positions where he can't succeed.
He's also
Would-
only been in the league for 2 years.
Right. Does it say anything about the scouting that Purdy was the last guy taken? Does it mean that all this millions, maybe even billions of dollars that teams spend over the years on scouting is all is at the end of the day you're just throwing a fucking dart?
I mean, how good was scouting when they moved up for Trey Lance?
That's what I mean. I was going to say
Right.
the same thing. The same team did it.
Right. But and it does. I will give the organization credit for
Jumping
cutting
ship as
bait.
quickly.
Yes, exactly right. Because there's a lot of teams, there's a lot of GMs, a lot of ownership groups that have way too much pride to admit they made a critical error like that on a first round pick. So I will give the Niners props for that. And I know Purdy was kind of forced into duty. It wasn't like he came out of camp and they went, "Oh, this guy's way better." But yeah, I do wonder about that sometimes when you see a quarterback like Purdy, like how did everybody miss him? Or when Mahomes is the third quarterback taken or whatever. Okay. So all right, boys. Well, guys, we appreciate it. Everybody being here. It's been a great season. I've had a lot of fun doing this. I've had a lot of fun getting to know some of you guys. Some of you guys I've worked with forever. Some of you guys I just got to know this year. I hope the audience has had fun as well, and getting to know everybody. And we've all got premium picks with the except for Scott. He's our resident pro bettor. But everybody else has premium plays available. So make sure you check that out as well. If you like any of us, we've all got picks. Just head over to the Winners and Whiners Experts tab. I think probably have some Super Bowl packages and things like that we'll put together. So that's it. It's hard to say goodbye, man. It really is. So Enjoy the game, everybody. Favorite Super Bowl snack, Ruel? Go.
Oh God, I'm gonna keep it simple. Chips.
Chips. Delano.
I know Doritos are chips, but we'll say we'll go with Doritos.
Rochelle.
It's kind of a mix. I'll go nachos, but that doesn't count as a snack. Then I'll go with chips.
Oh,
But
you guys are awful. Seamus.
I'm gonna go with David on this one. I like Doritos. I'm also interested in Super Bowl commercials, so we'll see how those work as well.
Okay. Rye.
I like wings. Give me the buffalo wings, hot.
There you go. There you go. Mason.
I'll go with wings too. I think Rye's on the right track there. I think he's dead on. I'll go teriyaki though instead of the hot wings.
All right. Pizza. Pizza. Don't fuck with anything. Just order everything. Just have them bring it. Order it in advance. Order 2 hours before game time. It'll be there at the perfect time. So,
Mason's lying, by the way. He's eating celery. Who's he kidding? Look at that guy.
Lots of celery. Rabbit food.
He's
Carrots.
had 7 wings in his life.
I could eat
All right,
40 wings and I'd still lose weight. That's the crazy part.
No, I'm with you,
yeah,
Mason. I'm with you.
He's got one of those. He's got one of those hyper metabolisms, man. That's a good thing.
On
too.
my high school weight.
You're at your high school weight.
Yeah.
Good for you. That's great news. I think you were also at my high school weight. All right, guys. We had a great season. I hope to see everybody back next year. As for you, thanks very much for watching. We appreciate every week you guys tuning in, and we love doing it, and we hope that you got some good value out of it. And we hope we got some good picks today. Let's go win some money. We'll see you back here in 8 months, 9 months, yeah, something like that. We'll wind it up again. So until then, happy 2023, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's go out there and have everybody stay safe in the Super Bowl, and let's go win a lot of money. You guys take care. We'll see you next year.